think you made that up. That's not where you send it.
Very ignorant pastor's section of hell. It will be filled.
Not a bad synopsis.
Good evening. I'm Brad, and you're not. And this is another edition of Brad Rants, where, of course, I drink and I rant things as I watch videos that have been prepared for me so that you can get a candid reaction. I am enjoying tonight. You know what? You have to wait for that. It's been a while since I've done this, and I forgot that the traditions are that you have to wait until the end of the episode to find out what I'm drinking. So, that being said, Jeremy, hit me with what you got. Good old Adam Sandler. And yes, that I mean that's obviously one of the best, most like comedy ready stories in the Bible. Elijah, the prophets of Baal, and just the way that he trolled them. All right, Elijah was a troll, right? You know, maybe your God is sitting on the John. You just can't get better comedy than that from one of God's own prophets. Spectacular, wonderful.
Anyone confesses that the smoke proceeds from the smoke machine and brings a shift in the atmosphere, let him be anathema. If anyone declares, submit to America, let him be anathema. If anyone, when speaking about the nature of worship, confesses that the sloppy wet kiss is one, let him be anathema. If anyone mix up jelly and roll and wishes to introduce two adorations of the two natures, calling the person jelly roll, a worship leader or saint, let him be anathema. If anyone calls the church coffee bar Jehovah Java or holy grounds, let him be anathema.
Amen. Amen. That last one was just perfect. Hit the nail on the head. Like, can we not with the like ironically named coffee shops inside of a church? I mean, look, I don't subscribe to the idea that like the church building itself is like, you know, holy ground or anything like that they're holy buildings. But I know a lot of Christians that do, and I've always wondered how they've squared with having a coffee shop inside their church, given that, you know, to them, that should seem like the equivalent of the money changers in the temple. It should, but it doesn't. And I've always wondered why. And I've just chalked it up to the fact that Americans have a caffeine addiction, and they're just willing to let that slide on the basis of feeding their flesh, which I also have the same caffeine addiction. So like, I get that.
Thank you, everyone, for coming in on such short notice. This is an emergency session. I'm going to skip roll call and just jump straight into it. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with. A 1,500-year-old synagogue was discovered in the Golan Heights. This is not good for us. The Jews are going to take this, and they're going to claim that they've been in the land the whole time, that they've always been there, and they're going to use this as evidence. So what can we do to get ahead of this? I'm opening the floor to suggestions. Anybody? Abdul, it's not a synagogue, it's a mosque. Predates your entire religion, so maybe not that one. Candace, yes. Time-traveling Jews. Oh, okay, elaborate. Time-traveling Jews took their time machines back to ancient Palestine, built a synagogue for this purpose, came back today to discover it. Not the craziest thing you've ever said. Okay. Anyone else? Tucker, Francesca, nothing. Okay, time-traveling Jews it is. Guys, you know the drill. Tucker, Candace, get on your podcasts. Francesca, call Antonio. Somebody text Greta. I think she's back in Europe by now. I will call Miss Rachel on my way out the door. You guys, let's go. Teamwork, hustle.
Oh, bro, we added Miss Rachel in at the end there too. Yeah, boy, that's been a huge debacle. As a new parent with a daughter who really enjoyed Miss Rachel, it was very disappointing to find out that, you know, she was an idiot. But I suppose I've learned not really to expect any more from people who make it that far into the public eye. His characterization of Candace Owens was pretty spot on. You know, like, I get that he's being satirical, but like that's only barely a joke. Like only barely a joke. That I could really believe her saying something like that, and that's kind of the sad story about all that. But yes, 100% right. Absolutely, we find a 1,500-year-old synagogue in Golan Heights. Of course, I don't know why anybody's surprised that we found this. I mean, there are older synagogue excavations in Israel. Like we know that, right? This is just another bit of evidence to go on the pile, the overwhelming pile of evidence that land belongs to the Jewish people, right? And this is just one more boulder on that stack of boulders. It's very simple.
Watch a movie about this young girl who's the daughter of a tribal chief of a group of indigenous people living in pre-colonial times, and she's hitting a point where her dad expects her to step into her proper place in the tribe, but she's not exactly vibing with the whole follow the plan thing.
Does this young girl like water? Because it's basically her metaphor for freedom so much that she sings a song about it.
Oddly specific, but yes.
Does she have a wise grandmother who sees things no one else in the tribe does, thinks her dad is holding her back, and gives her the push she needs to follow her true path?
Even more oddly specific, but still yes.
And is there a treasure-loving antagonist who's obsessed with things that are shiny, who also sings a song about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Does she get on a boat and eventually go out and meet her destiny? And after some setbacks, she crosses paths with a guy sporting a lot of hair and even more ego. Things totally fall apart. She has a crisis, gets a pep talk from Ghost's grandmother, comes back swinging, not with fists, but with feelings. Her dad has a change of heart, and suddenly everyone's on board for a brighter, more hopeful future.
That's a mouthful, but yes.
And that has to be Moana. Final answer.
All I can say is that you're wrong. You're wrong. Pocahontas.
Yeah, Pocahontas.
What?
Yep. Because see, I am a millennial, right? I remember the OG narrative that all of these types of movies follow. And Moana is basically just a copy and paste of the Pocahontas narrative, the same way that like The Force Awakens is just a copy and paste of Star Wars: A New Hope, right? The same way that Avatar is also Avatar is like sci-fi Pocahontas. It's an old narrative and it's been well overused. But yeah, you can't fool me. Do not cite the deep magic to me. I was there when it was written.
Rock your body right. Back streets back, all right. Hey, now we're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. I feel commitment's all I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand it. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Am I everything you need? You better rock your body now. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you.
Oh, why does
See you
that
Sunday,
work
Charleston.
so well? I'm impressed. As much as I feel like that was an intentional Rick roll from like the production team. I've got my eyes on you guys. But I respect what was done there.
Is enough enough? I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes.
It's funny actually. I just watched through those movies again with my wife because we enjoy those movies. The Pitch Perfect movies are entertaining, right? They're not. I won't say that they're good movies because they're actually not very good movies, but they are entertaining and they're funny. And of course, as a musician, I enjoy the musical aspect to them. So of course, as a musician, I focused more on the soundtrack to that video for the small clip that it was than the actual joke itself. But the joke is also funny, right? As according to the biblical narrative. There's that 0.01% of like the historical record where like abstinence didn't protect a couple from pregnancy. Right. It's a funny joke. That would have been good for last month. But we didn't do Brad Rants for last month. We took a break over the holidays.
Our country celebrates Labor Day. And since our church follows the U.S. national holiday schedule for our church calendar, we're going to be talking about the importance of good work. Not for our salvation, because we all know that heaven is free, but a good potluck, now that's earned. Welcome back to our 67th message in the book of Romans. You'll be glad to know that today we're finally going to begin chapter 2. It is imperative that we are able to distinguish between law and gospel. All right, we'll see everyone next week. Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to challenge theological assumptions by showing how Jesus' interaction with the Syrophoenician woman demonstrated an inherent bias towards the marginalized, and how even Jesus, who represents the evils of heteronormative masculinity, needed to repent of his racism. Today our message comes from the assigned reading from the lectionary from the third Sunday after Epiphany, Year B, page 472, subsection 3, footnote 7. I was going to read a text tonight, but I just got a message directly from the Lord that says there's somebody out here who needs a touch from the Spirit. So we're going to forego the message and go right into the altar call. We have a line forming right here of people who want to be slain in the Spirit. So ushers, if you could get the catchers and y'all come up here and get ready, because here we go. This week, a major event happened in Israel. So I'm going to be foregoing my regular message. We're going to be going over to Revelation 13 again, so I can show you how the events of the day are fulfilling a prophecy about the end times. Hey guys, welcome back to Big Eva Mega Church Multiplex and Mini Mall. I want to invite you to open up your iPads, go to the Prime app, and go to the 34-minute mark of episode 3 as we continue our summer movie series on the Star Wars movies. And today we're going to be asking this question: where's the Count Dooku in you? So now begins our homily. And we want to remind you that this is probably not a good time to get up and go to the restroom, because by the time you get back, I'll probably be finished. Today we shall discuss why Rome is wrong, why Protestants are very wrong, and why some of you are still wrong, and why Constantinople has been right the whole time.
Solid characterization there. Like he pretty well captured all of them with 100% accuracy. I think maybe the big megachurch one, as much as I respect the drip that he put on for that one, that could have been a bit more extreme and a bit more out there. I mean, use of Star Wars is pretty, I mean, it's kind of out there, but like as an allegory, it still directly translates. And I feel like, you know, the megachurch pastors would probably use something a little more abstract, and a little like less relatable to the common person, but much more well known by the common. Like I would expect maybe Stranger Things or something like that. And I'm not entirely sure where all you could go with that. I guess, you know, somehow 11 is the messianic figure, and you know, you've got to everybody figure out how to trust in her the way that Hopper needed to learn to trust in her. Spoiler alert, everybody, that happens in the new season. You know, full marks. That was great.
Would it not stand to make sense that the reason Republicans think that guns are for protecting their family, for hunting, for protecting themselves from a tyrannical government, because that's what they use them for? Liberals, on the other hand, think guns are meant for murdering people, because that's what they use them for.
Bro, he's just been put on like a no-fly list because he just destroyed a whole left wing. I am at a loss for words. That was spectacular. That was just genius level synopsis. But no, so like the point, he's got a good point there, right? It's an excellent point, because the left, I think most of us can agree, is more effeminate. And it's not a bad, like it's not a bad thing for women to be effeminate. It is a bad thing for men to be effeminate, and even the men on the left are effeminate, and that's kind of the problem. And as far as masculine and feminine traits go, it's very obvious that the left does seem to operate more so according to the feminine nature rather than the masculine nature, and those both have their shortcomings. But one of the shortcomings of the feminine nature is projection. Okay. It's very common, right? One of the social critiques of feminism and the way that they have vilified men, it has been noted that they are so afraid of men because they are afraid that men will treat them the way that they would treat men if they had the power that men have, right? The actual physical upper hand that men have. That if women had that they would treat men the way that they are afraid that men will treat them. So that is projection. It is projection. It is projecting that you will do to me what I actually would probably do to you if I had that level of power. And that is what the left does, right? What the left typically does is they project onto the right whatever it is that they are actually doing. And so they're afraid of the right having guns because they're afraid that the right will do what they would actually do if they had guns, and what they do when they have guns. No, he's 100% right. Yeah, that's what they use them for, and so that's what they're afraid of everybody doing with them. Wild.
Einstein said the definition of insanity was doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. But I think the definition of insanity is a severely disordered state of the mind, usually occurring as a specific disorder. Okay. Did you guys, because I read the actual definition of... Okay, yeah, I'm not sure. Try, yeah, okay. So Albert Einstein said the definition of insanity was doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I think it's a severely disordered state of the mind. Okay, did we see what happened there? Because obviously the second time, arguably actually even less laughed than the first time. And that's interesting, because the first time I tell it's actually not supposed to be funny. That's so well judged by you guys, but the second time I tell it, that's where it's supposed to be like, oh, he's insane, he's trying it again. Okay, so just glancing around the room, I feel like not everyone got that. And yeah, maybe it's on me, maybe I stuffed up the... We'll try it again. So Albert Einstein said the definition of insanity was doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. But I think it's a severely disordered state of the mind. Okay, wow, that's interesting. A little smattering of applause at the end. That's fascinating, because we've actually told the joke 3 times now, and we got a kind of a different result every time. I don't want to ruffle any feathers in the scientific community here, but it actually does seem like, at least in this particular instance, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result would actually be more like the definition of sanity. But I think the definition of sanity is the ability to think and behave in a normal and rational manner. Yeah, so ideally that's where the routine ends. Yeah, we didn't quite get the result we were hoping for. If you know anything about comedy, you know that a routine really should end with a nice big laugh or even a round of applause, which we didn't get. And, like, it was fine. We got a little laugh. I could have just taken it. But I've kept rambling now, and you can probably tell that as a result, we are still in the bit. And the more astute members of the crowd have probably started to figure out that therefore we are sort of inevitably careening towards a fourth telling of the joke. Albert Einstein said the definition of insanity was doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, but I think that's a severely disordered state of the mind. Right, so that was the fourth rendition. No, too late. That was the fourth rendition. I mean, I can think you can see the corner I've painted myself into. This impossible loop of a premise I'm desperately trying to write myself out of. But I know that comedically I need a big laugh or a round of applause for it, but I'm going to get that. Because I've told the joke four times. It's not getting funnier. It wasn't funny the first time. It was arguably funny the third time, but that was mainly due to my skills of performance and delivery, which are now rapidly slipping through my fingers as I begin to panic in front of an increasingly hostile crowd, because I know that no matter how many times I tell a joke or deconstruct the routine, I'm still going to be trapped inside it for the rest of the show, and the more I begin to lose my mind. Actually, speaking of losing your mind, Albert Einstein said the definition of insanity was doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. But I think it's a severely disordered state of the mind. And while...
Okay, that was pretty meta. And I enjoy a meta joke. I enjoy a good meta joke. That was good. That seemed like it was going to get repetitive there for a minute, but he was able to keep it creative, keep it fresh, which is great. Kind of had that like Family Guy aspect where like it's funny at first when they start a gag, and then they keep going, and like as they keep going, you're like, all right, well, when is this going to stop? But then they keep going, and because they went longer, it gets funnier for some reason. I couldn't explain it, but that was a good meta joke. I enjoy meta humor. That was good.
Forgiveness is not about forgetting or excusing or welcoming back the one that hurt you. It's about the release of the grip of resentment. It's the quiet courage to say, this pain will not own me anymore. Forgiveness doesn't erase boundaries. It strengthens them. Because you no longer react from anger, but from peace. It's not a single act, but a slow unfolding, gentle laying down of the heavy stone that you carried. In forgiveness, you don't free the other person. You free yourself.
Very good. Very good. I've seen a lot of his content before, and I'm really never disappointed. It's always, like good practical wisdom. And I'm glad that he integrated the stone, right? Because the first clip there is him carrying and then laying down a stone, and he integrated that into that bit of wisdom that he was sharing, which I was happy for. I wanted to know that he didn't just place that stone there so that he could Captain McMorgan it, which would have been fine, but it makes me happy that he integrated it into his storytelling. And of course the accent just kind of adds a bit of like stoic wisdom vibe to the whole thing. The speaking wisdom in a European accent for whatever reason always just makes it sound better. Maybe it's the Shakespearean aspect that we're so accustomed to here in the West, but it hits the ears nicely, and it's almost relaxing, right? It hearing that alone almost puts your soul at peace. Beautiful. I like it. But that is all we have for tonight. What I am drinking is an old fashioned, but I used a whiskey that was given to me for Hanukkah called Traveler. And I forget the country music artist that is associated with. It's like Traveler is like his own personal specific brand of whiskey. It's actually very, very good. Would highly recommend. It's good neat. It's good on ice. And it makes an excellent old fashioned. So that is what I am drinking tonight. That being said, We do appreciate all of you joining us. And as always, thank you for enduring us.